So I made a video earlier before the one I uploaded talking about Morrowind, Oblivion and Skyrim, but it went for half an hour and it couldn't save onto my phone because I didn't have enough memory for the video. So I'm going to make another part talking about why Morrowind is awesome. And if for me personally, someone who started with Oblivion and then played Skyrim and loved them both, Morrowind done it for me more. And Morrowind, when I first played it, I was used to, you know, a predictable and fun game, or what I thought was fun. But once I got into Morrowind, saw the strange land and how beautiful and wondrous it was, even though the graphics was so dated and yeah, things about it were very strange, I still thought it was an amazing game once I got into it more. The problem for most players who jump into a Morrowind and, you know, wonder what the hell's going on and what this game I can't even get into will be tricked into thinking that because they don't persevere through the dice roll mechanics. It doesn't work in any way like Oblivion and Skyrim. When you cast a spell, when you do anything, when you swing your sword, it's a dice roll. It has a chance of success depending on how much stamina or fatigue you have. The green bar. And when you first jump into Morrowind, you won't know that. So the first thing I say to people who want to jump into Morrowind, the green bar is the most important thing in Morrowind mechanics. It's excellent mechanics, but you got to understand it to be able to play the game, because Morrowind is very much a traditional RPG. It really is. It works just like Dungeons and Dragons would. It's great. It's a real Dungeons and Dragons sort of Elder Scrolls. It's fantastic. And I know that I've never played Daggerfall, and honestly, I can't because the graphics is so damn dated. You know, there are mods to make it slightly better and bearable, but there's not enough of them. So I can't get into Daggerfall until Daggerfall, what's it called? The new engine for Daggerfall. It's called uh bloody it's called something. Daggerfall Unity. And until that gets really good, I'm not going to get into Daggerfall because I know it's a very good game. Daggerfall must be fantastic. Absolutely. But yeah, the graphics is just no. It's puke. It's complete puke. The mountains look ridiculous. They don't even look like mountains. They look like poorly drawn volcanoes that have been chopped off at the top. It looks terrible. The graphics is just yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, it's just very dated. Very dated game. Everything else I'm sure is great about it though. But anyway, more about Morrowind, right? Morrowind, you know, when I got into the story, and I only played Morrowind for the story. See, that was the key thing. I was such a fan of the Elder Scrolls. I didn't know Morrowind would open the door to me loving the Elder Scrolls a whole lot more, into for a deeper reason, for the lore, for the story. And when I got into the story, when I realized Caius Casades said I was a noob and I was too much of a noob to start the story. Sorry, go and play the game to get better. I felt so free. That was an amount of freedom Oblivion and Skyrim don't even come close to giving you. You know, their tutorials, they force you into the main quest. You know, they put your face right into the main quest. Skyrim shows you the dragon attack. My goodness, there's a dragon. Oh no. We got to save the world. You know, if you don't, you're an asshole. Pretty much. Because that's the way Oblivion and Skyrim make you feel. You know, they force your face into the main quest. You know, you can technically do whatever you want and ignore them, sure, but you don't feel right about doing it. Morrowind gives you that, and it makes it so much better. That's the just one thing that makes Morrowind superior to Oblivion and Skyrim. What else is superior? Oh man, the spells. The spells are fantastic. There's spells coming out of spells. It's so awesome. There's slow fall, which literally is slow fall. So if you fall down somewhere really high and you have that spell or a constant effect on a ring or something, you won't suffer fall damage. It's just amazing. Then there's levitation, the most common one. The levitation is awesome too. So there's more in the game than Oblivion and Skyrim have. And yeah. What else is really good about Morrowind? It's not just the spells, the factions, there's more of them. There's more to do with the factions. The factions make you feel like you're persevering through something, a hard land to crawl through the mud to get to be someone. That's what Morrowind ultimately makes you feel. You've got to crawl through the mud to get where you want to be. You've got to really work for it. And when you feel like you finally achieved the leader of a certain faction, a guild, or a great house, you feel like you're a part of that world. So much more than Oblivion and Skyrim. Unfortunately, it's true. I love Oblivion and Skyrim, don't get me wrong. I really love them. They're still great games. But Morrowind, you know, it just does everything better. And I can go into even more reasons why Morrowind is good. You know, better. The story, the main quest. Oh, Michael Kirkbride. Fantastic. And I couldn't understand why the story was so good and why I loved Dagoth. Oh, he was awesome. So awesome. I thought he was such a misunderstood guy. You know, just a crazy guy that, you know, misunderstood. And I felt that. I went there and I literally was so excited to try and join Dagoth because I felt the way he felt, you know, about, you know, this whole conspiracy about, you know, the false gods and everything. Little did I know he was also a false god, but once I got into the story, it was fantastic. And I felt very sad when I had to kill Dagoth for the first time. I was quite sad. And I was very sad that it forced you to do that, but I understand why they did that, because Elder Scrolls, they could make it different, but because the Elder Scrolls work in a very strange way. Anyway, there should be alternate endings, alternate pathways you can take in the main quest that greatly affect the ending, because that's how the Elder Scrolls works. Nothing is set in stone with the Elder Scrolls. Anyway, what else is really good about Morrowind? There's more. There is more. There's tons. And I'm sure the Morrowind fans would be able to. I'm probably a Morrowind fan myself, but I'm not a nostalgic Morrowind fan, and I can't be accused of nostalgia at all, because I got into Oblivion first. That's the game I'm nostalgic for. I have Oblivion and Skyrim are very dear to my heart because they're the first games I got into. You know, they held my hand, they spoon-fed me, and then when I grew up and I got stronger and ready for the world, I went into a Morrowind, and my goodness, did it chew me up and chew me up and spit me out most of the time. But yeah, that was the sort of, and it was great. Yeah. Another good thing about Morrowind that, let's face it, Oblivion and Skyrim need to do as well, and modders do it for them, is that not everything is scaled to your level. Morrowind has a lot of hand placed chests, hand placed stuff, especially in dungeons. The creatures sort of level with you, sort of, not as extreme as Oblivion and Skyrim, but the NPCs do not. They're all static completely. Some NPCs will be harder than others, and you won't even know. You'll go into a dungeon full of most of them are smugglers, smuggling in skooma or even part of the story. I won't even get into the main quest, but because it's spoilers. But yeah, I think this video might be spoilers anyway, so I might tag it as spoilers. But yeah, Morrowind is awesome. It is. It just is. I had so much nostalgia for Oblivion and Skyrim. I wanted to think, oh, they're all just as good, but they're not. Oblivion and Skyrim are just as good as each other because they both do relatively the same things. Except, of course, the hero in Oblivion is very different from the hero in Skyrim. That's the main differences of those two games. But with Morrowind, nearly everything is different in a good way. So yeah. Anyway, that's me talking about Morrowind and why it's awesome. And for those who don't mind a few spoilers, just to tease you into the game to play it, play the game. Play Morrowind. You don't even need to really mod it. Just make sure you have a full gauge of fatigue before you go and swing your sword against some enemy, because you will pay for it.